This is about Polya's 4 steps for problem solving. So the 4 steps are: first, to understand the problem. Next, you'll devise a plan. Third, you'll carry out the plan. And finally, you'll look back and check the answer. So let's look at this problem. A television costs $384. Kristen wants to purchase the television. If she saves $42 a week, how many weeks will it take her to save enough for the television? Let's first look at this through understanding the problem. When we're understanding the problem, we want to read it a couple times. The first time, we're just going to read it through like we did last time. A television costs $384. Kristen wants to purchase the television. If she saves $42 a week, how many weeks will it take her to save enough for the television? And that first time that we're reading through, we're just kind of wanting to get a feel for the question. We're not digging in too deeply. We're not taking too much time on anything. We're just reading it. Then we're going to go back and read through it again. This time we're going to be looking for the important information. So, a television costs $384. That's an important part of this question. Kristen wants to purchase the television. We really don't care that Kristen wants to purchase the television. We just care to find out how long it'll take her to save the money for it. So that's really unnecessary information, so we're going to ignore that. If she saves $42 a week, that $42 a week is important information. That's something that we're going to need to use to solve the problem. Then how many weeks? So again, $42 a week, we want to see how many weeks. It's important to pay attention to that to make sure they're not trying to trick us and change it to months or years or something like that. So how many weeks will it take her to save enough for the television? So that right there is our question, our big question. How long will it take her to save for the television? So now that we understand the problem, we can devise a plan. So her television costs $384. So we need to find out how long it's going to take for her to get $384. Then we also know that she can save $42 a week. So we have our 42 times, here's our variable. This is the number we don't know. We do not know how many weeks it'll take. So we have $42 a week multiplied by some unknown number. We just don't know that number yet. We're trying to find out what that number has to be for her to get $384. So let's go through the math. Carry out our plan. We have 42x, or 42 times some number of weeks, equals 384. If we divide by 42 on both sides, because that's how, if you want to get rid of something, you need to do the opposite to both sides. So if we're going to divide this side by 42 so that we can just get rid of that 42, then we also have to divide this side by 42 so that we have the equal numbers going on both sides. So then we have our x equals 384 divided by 42. That gives us 9.14 or 9.14 weeks. Now, have you ever been paid 4.14 weeks of work? I know I haven't. So the correct answer for this one would be, it would take Kristen 10 weeks to save up enough money for the television. So let's look back and check our answer. For this one, we can just do kind of a rounding estimate because we just need to know that it's pretty close. You would be able to tell if you made an error in your mathematics if you're doing a rounding amount, just because you'd be able to look at it and say, well, if we thought it was going to take her 20 weeks, does that make sense? 42 times 20 is going to be a lot more than 384. So if we're looking at the 40, which is about what she makes a week, times 10, or about what she can save a week, sorry, not what she makes, but what she can save a week, times 10 weeks, that's what we came up with that it would take. That's about $400, and we can see that $400 is very close. So we can see that yes, our 10 weeks is a good answer for this problem. And that is checking your answer. There are a lot of ways that you can go about checking your answer, just like there are a lot of ways that you can go about solving the problem. This is just one. Throughout the course, we will look at many, many more. I hope this helped, and if you need any more additional help with any of these concepts, please make sure you contact me.